In this lecture, we are going to proceed on page 135, Commercial Law for Business Students, and studying drafts in international trade. Drafts in international trade. Drafts are an international convention in England and British Commonwealth. Drafts are called bills of exchange. The same thing. Like a draft, a bill of exchange is a kind of check or promissory note without interest, used primarily in international trade. It is a written order by one person to pay another a specific sum of a specific date on a specific date, sometimes in the future, of course. If the bill of exchange is drawn on a bank, it is called a bank draft. If it is drawn on another party, it is called a trade draft. Sometimes a bill of exchange will simply be called a draft, but whereas a draft is always negotiable, transferable by endorsement, that is not necessarily true of a bill of exchange. A widely used draft in international trade is the banker's acceptance. It is a short-term credit investment created by a non-financial firm and guaranteed by a bank. This instrument is used when an exporter agrees to extend credit to an importer. Okay. Now we are going to read and study section number 2 and talk about the second kind of commercial papers, which are checks. It's on page 137. Section 2, checks, introduction. A second type of commercial paper is the common bank check, a special form of draft. A check is defined as a draft drawn on a bank and payable on demand. Post-dating a check, putting in the future date, does not invalidate it or change its character as payable on demand. Post-dating simply changes the first time at which the payee may demand payment. Checks are, of course, usually written on paper forms, but a check can be written on anything: a door, a shirt, a rock, though certainly the would-be holder is not obligated to accept it. Like drafts, checks may be accepted by the drawee bank. Bank acceptance of a check is called certification. The check is said to be certified by stamping the word certified on the face of the check. When the check is certified, the bank guarantees that it will honor the check when presented. It can offer this guarantee because it removes from the drawer's accounts the face amount of the check and holds it for payment. The payee may demand payment from the bank, but not from the drawer or any prior endorser of the check. Contents of the check. Number 1, the word check is written on the content of the instrument in the language in which it was written. And number 2, an unconditional order to pay a specific sum of money. Number 3, the name of party liable to pay, the drawee. 4, place of payment. And number 5, the date and place of check is on check issues. Number 6, of course, signature of the check issuer, the drawer. Check without funds. It is not allowed to issue a check unless at the time of issuing the check the drawer has money which can be cashed by a check according to explicit or implicit agreement. The drawer of a check or ordering other to have it issued for them shall fulfill its concurrent consideration. In spite of that, the drawer for others remains personally liable only to the endorsers and the holder. On the drawer, in case of denial, shall prove that the drawee has its concurrent consideration at the time of its issuance, and if he does not prove that, he shall guarantee its payment even if they fail or file the protest past the specific dates. The lack of concurrent consideration or its insufficiency does not lead to the invalidity of the check. The payee, it is allowed to stipulate the payment of the check to, number 1, a specific person with explicitly stating the order terms or without it. Number 2, a specific person with stating the not for order term or any other phrase bearing the same meaning. Number 3, the bearer of the check. Number 4, it is allowed to draw the check for the order of the drawer himself, but it is not allowed to draw it for the drawer himself unless it is drawn among bank branches controlled by one main branch. Number 5, it is allowed to be drawn for someone else's account, and it is conditioned that the check is not to be due paid for its bearer. The drawer guarantees the payment of the check, and every term exempts the drawers of this guarantee is considered null and void. The check drawn for the interest of a specific person with the phrase or for its bearer stated on other similar phrase is considered a check for its bearer. If the name of the beneficiary is not specified, the check is considered for its bearer, and the check including the term of not to be circulated is only paid to its bearer who delivered it associated with this term.